Hey you, it's Jess here and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing an April reading journal setup and a little update here. This is going to be way more casual and also talking in real time with you guys, unlike the last couple where I did, just a very quick setup with doing a voiceover. So we're just going to be hanging out for a minute. And going to be working on April and maybe some other things. We will see. I might have to cut some things out and cut some things short just because of the way I'm filming right now. But yeah, I want to set up April, and April is the Magical Readathon month. My character Verbena is going back to Aurelium for her second year. So Aurelium and Magical Readathon is by Book Roast, and I will link it down below. But it's this whole RPG readathon where your character has 2 semesters of school, which is a 2-monthly readathon. So April and I think maybe August or September. So this is my my proper little notebook for that I set up for last year, which is on my channel, where I made my character. I'm part of the Archivist Guild. And I just chose all my bits and pieces for my character. And so they are from Erytheria, and they're an elf. And this is Verbena. I drew her here because it was fun to draw her. So she's finished her novice year and now she's going to do apprentice. So you do 4 years of the Magical Readathon to complete your character. And her calling is the Story Weaver. So she'll be a Story Weaver when she finishes 4 years. So we're doing the 2nd year. And Story Weaver has a whole section here. And it has the classes that you take. And we're doing it Spring Equinox. So we're doing Inscription, Art of Illusion, Psionics, and Divination and Law. And so every year she brings out a syllabus. This is the printing for this one. I'll show you that I actually printed off bigger last time. My printing has changed a lot, so I just had to live with a smaller one for this time. But this was the syllabus last spring, and the books. We're not going to be doing this journal. We're going to be setting up my big journal. But I just have this here for my book choices. So I wanted to go over my book choices quickly. So for Inscription, we have Dating Intricacies, so Day of the Week in the title. And I've chosen this classics book. Maybe you'll be able to see, but The Man Who Was Thursday by G.K. Chesterton. And this is from the 1910s, maybe. So it is a classic. It's out of copyright, at least in the US. And so I was able to get this for free on standardebooks.org. They do, if it's out of copyright, you can get an ebook for free on there. So if you're doing Day of the Week in the title, there is a free option for you. It's like it's a mystery classics book, so but it's about anarchism, and it sounds interesting. And then we have Art of Illusion, which is alternate illusions, and we need unusual formatting. And I decided to go into my guild points, which I really need to set up the page, but this is I've been keeping track of my guild points here, which you gain by doing the different equinoxes and stuff. So I've got a bunch of guild points here, so I'm going to pay for a scroll of exchange because I just couldn't pick a book that I liked for a different unusual formatting. So that means it's written in letters, or it's written a big recommendation people have is House of Leaves, but I don't really want to buy many new books right now, so I exchanged it for Restoration, Restorative Adoration, and ask for 5-star titles and pick one, because everyone was giving 5-star titles in the Discord, and one person wrote The Raven Scholar, which I'm just going to get an audiobook because I have a credit for that. So I'm going to read the Raven Scholar for my exchange book. So if you don't love a prompt, there are ways you can get around the prompt. And then we have Psionics and Divination, which is reading past and future with word time in the title. And this is actually part of the 20 books I want to read this year, Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So the perfect time to pull this book out. I can't wait. It's my partner, one of my partner's favorite books. They love Children of Time, so finally reading Children of Time. And then we have Lore, which is Ancient Speculative Lore, which is dystopia or utopia. And I know a lot of people are struggling with this one, but I actually, when I was looking it up, there are utopia books. Utopia is so hard to find, but the Ian M. Banks has the Culture series, which is based on a utopia. I do have those books, but I decided to go with a dystopia, a shorter book, which was Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation. It was on a list of dystopian books. So those are the books that I have for the Aurelium Spring Equinox. So you can see this was the autumn equinox is a lot more complicated, and the spring one is a lot more simple. But yeah, I realized I printed this off so much smaller than last year, but oh well. That is to worry about those. But we will be referencing in this this setup for April. I'm gonna have a much more simple setup for April. I really need to go through my diary and my planner and see how many days I actually read, because I still need to do that. But so far we're almost to the end of March. It's the 23rd today, and I've read 17 books so far, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm halfway through an audiobook right now, and I'm also 40% through a new ebook, so doing pretty well on those goals. But I did want to print off and put in some monthly faves. So for Feb, it was different. Like, I did a 5-star book read for one of the Murderbot Diaries books, and then I gave this book, I think, 4 stars. But I think overall this was more of my favorite because it's just a much bigger book than the Murderbot books. So my Feb favorite was An Echo of Things to Come. And this might seem like I'm jumping the gun, but I'm loving it so far. I'm 40% through this book, as I just said. It's my current read, and I don't think any of my other reads from this month are going to top it. If I can freaking open this sticker. Okay. And it's actually the second book from my January book, which is City of Lost Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So House of Open Wounds is the second book in that series, and I'm loving it. So I'm already putting it in for March. This is a fantasy series, whereas Children of Time is a sci-fi series for Adrian Tchaikovsky. Same author, but different topics there. You can see how my bingo went. My winter bingo, I didn't finish it. I did get a bingo though in the middle here. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm working on spring right now, which is looking pretty good. Yeah, so I still have a couple. Obviously spring just started, so I have 3 months to work on the spring bingo. I'm not trying to fill them all up, but I might return to winter in December, and I might get some couple more like filled in that sense. I also was able to finish up my summer bingo page because I got my stickers in from my Patreon, which was like my last theme. I thought I went with the summer bingo page. And I was able to set up the spring bingo because I got the bingo board, since I think the last time I showed you guys. So let's quickly go through this. You can see we're working on March right now. Still working on this side. So this is going to be, I haven't got the stickers for this yet, but this is going to be a double spread for Pokopia. And I'm going to be using, I asked Andrea to re-release her Pokemon art, but as a journaling form, because I don't think she released it in journaling form previously. So hopefully soon she'll release this Pokemon art for this. And then actually I'm going to move back my April setup because I want to do a one-piece spread, and I do actually have pieces for the one-piece spread here. So we'll see about that. I don't know if we'll get into that in this video, but we will try and focus on the April setup, and then my other pages I might do by myself, and I'll show you next time, or we'll see how we go. But I want to do a double spread here at the live action One Piece Season 2 because I adored that this month. Then I'm going to do my new Infinity Nikki playlist. So you can see it here. My game that I like to play, my live update game. They bring out a soundtrack for every update that they do like almost monthly. So this is the original one, and then I've got a bunch of new soundtracks here as well. And then this one, I've decided to do a page for the book that I reread. Did I read it this month? Yes, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. It was a 5-star on my first read, and it's a 5-star on my second read. Even though I knew what would happen on my reread, I still cried twice at the end. I love it so much. And it's one of his secret projects, so he has a ton of art that was included in the book. So I thought it would make a beautiful page. You can see some of the art here in case we don't get to do this page together. But I was inspired by Kirsten of Kirsten Plans, or just Kirsten here. She does like to do a whole page with pictures for her books that she reads through the month in her reading journal. I will link her down below in case you want to watch her videos. But I was inspired by that because she does like a big book cover and then lots of pictures that she found. But all of this art was official art that was included in the Dragon Steel copy of the book. And I just adore it. It's so beautiful. And if you're looking for a wholesome, very beautiful slow burn romance that has literally no spice, I would recommend Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. It's also a really good sci-fi / fantasy. It's also a huge, like, it's all about art basically, and what is art, who makes art. It's very much a commentary on AI, and I love the book so much. So I have those printed out, and I'm going to do this blue background with the butterflies. A big thing in the book is the magenta and cyan colors, and there's also a whole scene where they describe butterflies, so I thought that'd make a really fun little collage there. So here's what we're going to do April for readathon. I've got these papers for my One Piece spread. I'm not sure how I'm going to put it together yet. I didn't have anything else that was super like sea-like. But I thought these like fish and then these colors made me think of One Piece. So maybe we'll get to that. But these are the papers that I pulled out for April. We might be going back to just the 2 pages for the setup, so we'll see. These are like old, so this is a newer A5 paper from SPC, and these are older ones. You can see that they're slightly smaller and they have rounded corners than the A5, but these are from the mystery kit that we did last year for July, which was Royal Court, which didn't have a like journaling format, but I assume when she re-releases this art, probably around July or August, I'm sure she will release this mystery kit. There'll be a whole new journaling kit with that will be available. So I'm excited for that. But I thought this would be perfect for the readathon because, you know, I am an elf magical creature. And I thought this could be like the Aurelium school that we're attending. So yeah, let's get into it. I think I need to pick up a few other stickers to go with it. So I'm going to quickly go through my little album here with all of my SPC deco. Although I could look at my other stickers as well. But I was thinking about a new page that I got, which was like Romantasy. I'm not a fan of Romantasy, but I'm much more of an epic fantasy girly. But the art was still really pretty, and I feel like there was only like 3 that I wouldn't use. The War College, the Not Today, and Should I Get the Wing Leader? Because I assume that's references to, I don't know, Fourth Wing or something. But you know, other dragon and fantasy books exist. But I thought I could like include this as well. I don't know. I just need to go get some alphabet stickers and I'll be right back. Alright, I am back and I've got these Enchanted Academia like Scrabble ones. I just don't have any other, like I don't have any alphabet stickers that would go with a fantasy look. I really need to find some that are more fantasy themed. But do I want to do, I might do this because it looks more like a school on the outside. And I'm just going to do a full page of this. This is smaller than A5. This is like her old way of doing these papers. But that is okay. So it just fits, I think, but has a curve. So it won't take up the entire page like the other papers. That's okay. So we'll put this here, and then I was thinking of labeling these. I feel like, it's like fine, but I think actually I want maybe this paper on this side because I kind of love this as a background, and it gives it sort of, I don't know, like a magic, more weathered look. You've got like the Sacred Heart pattern kind of thing that I did going here. I think that would add something nice. Alright, so we have those two pages, but I think I'm going to layer over the letters, the titles over this like dictionary paper, and just sort of like, and then sort of tear the letters out, because I feel like that would just give it a little bit more oomph, a little bit more layering to it. So we're going to put in April, because obviously we're doing April. I should just try and do it straight, because we're going to be tearing. April, so let me get these letters out. Alright, now I'm going to tear these out. Okay, we got April in, and I think it kind of works. Like, I possibly could have done this one instead in the background, but I feel like the black letters wouldn't stand out as much. I don't know, yeah. So I think we're fine with that, but maybe we could do something else with this, like just to bring it in onto the side. Over that. But maybe we could do, like, rip these into the columns, and we could layer the book covers over there. These might not be the only books I read this month, so I need to make some room, but we will see. So you could do that, and then this, and then layer over the top, so then it's all kind of layered together. I don't know. And then we'll pull in some of this deco to like bring it all together. So I suppose we should tear this side first as well. So we have all sides torn, like the letters. So put the first book here, and then we will put a star rating underneath, because that's usually how I indicate that I've finished it. Okay, and now we'll tear this, and that could be like one of the books. Alright, I'm just gonna go through this and finish this up. Alright. So I think we'll have space for 2 more books here, so I'm just gonna tear 2 pieces that I can lay it in, and if I read another 2 books, I can fit those in. That would be great. Alright. Yeah, that should work. So now I'm going to put these layered pieces in. And then if I read more books outside of this, I'll just put in the book cover and the star rating in there. And if I don't, I can just, I might just leave them or put in more deco around them. But let's try and put some of this deco in. Maybe we can fit this really big piece into here. I know last year in the Magical Readathon, we did actually collect dragons as like page goals for reading, so I feel like the dragons go well with this as well. And I also just completed the dragon riding license for my character. That's another thing, is you have like extra things you can do to collect for your character, and I got the dragon riding license finished. So for that you need to read 2 books with dragons and watch a movie or TV show with dragons. So I read Assassin's Quest, which is Robin Hobb, and has sort of a different take on dragons, which I really enjoyed. And then also the John Gwynne books, the Blood Swan Saga. They have, I wish I had a slightly smaller moon here, but maybe I can move these over a bit just to fit this in. But yeah, so And then for the TV show movie, there's actually dragons in the anime version of One Piece, because we've been rewatching One Piece, so I thought, yeah, I'll include those dragons as well. So I think that'll be fun. Okay, I think I want to add some slightly different pieces here. Maybe this scroll would be useful. Not just this boot. And I want to do this on the opposite side, maybe there. Just putting these where I can. This butterfly there. I guess the rest of these I'm not going to be using, so I might just bring in some of these star pieces to finish up that decoration. It's also because I'm mostly reading, these are sci-fi, this is like a mystery classic, and then this is a fantasy, so it kind of mixes up, but I've been reading a lot of sci-fi lately, so I think it still works. It's all kind of in the same wheelhouse. There's just so much good sci-fi at the moment, and I'm still catching up on, you know, my fantasy stuff is like really long, so I'm still like in the middle of Wheel of Time and all of that, but I don't really want to read Wheel of Time for a readathon, or because I'm pretty sure the next audiobook I have for Wheel of Time is like 36 hours long. And I have been reading them on like 1.2, 1.5, because I find that, I think it's Michael who does the narration here. I find him pretty slow, to be honest. So I've used the most pertinent deco of that sheet. But is that all I'm going to do for April? I think it is. I think we can say April is done, and then we will put in other books as we finish them. But this will be my audiobook, and then I have these 3 on digital. So it should be a pretty easy and quick reading month. You know, I don't think these 2 are very long, so we will see. But that is what I've chosen for the Magical Readathon and my setup for April. So maybe we can do some quick other pages. Like, let's do the Yumi and the Nightmare Painter page, because I feel like this one will be pretty simple. So we are going to start with the background page. And then we're going to layer these pictures over, and then I'm going to go through my deco and see what else I could bring in to complement it. Alright, so just stick it up there. I found this like a good way to be able to stick it down and not have any like air bubbles and get it as straight as I can. So let me just trim this off. Alright, now let's start layering this together. So this is actually one of the end papers of the Dragonsteel book, just gorgeous. And it kind of describes an end part of the book. It's not a spoiler, but it was lovely to be able to, the first time I read this book, because we had backed the secret projects, we had the digital and audiobook copies. So I was listening to the audiobook when I first read Yumi and Nightmare Painter, but since I loved it so much, I ended up buying a normal hardcover copy and also the Dragonsteel version, because the Dragonsteel version went on sale during like, well, he calls it Light Week or like the Light Thursday or something. He doesn't do like a Black Friday, he does like a different version of Black Friday, like the week before Thanksgiving. So I was able to get the book on sale, the Dragonsteel book, and that is the copy that I read on this reread. I'm trying to think of how I want to place these. I do print all my stuff on removable matte paper, so I feel like that is a good thing to keep in mind if you're going to print your own stuff. But yeah, so it was nice to be able to actually read the words itself and be able to look through at the pictures as I'm reading. All these, the art that's included throughout the book and in the end papers is actually on his website, so you can look at them anytime for free. So if you didn't, you weren't able to read it with the pictures, I definitely recommend look at Brandon Sanderson's website for them. I had one last piece of deco I was going to include, but I have a lot. Here we go. But Yumi the Nightmare Painter is about two artists. We have Nightmare Painter. He just goes by Painter, but his name is Nakaro, and he paints nightmares using black ink and a brush. Nightmares like appear physical into the world where he lives, which is like almost like a feels of modern Japan. It's still fantasy, but they have like means of electricity, and it's a world that's like constantly in darkness because it's covered by a dark shroud where the nightmares come from. And so they have artists at night lurking and hunting these nightmares. If they see one, they paint the nightmare into a less scary form so that it kind of disappears. And he usually paints them as bamboo. And then we have the other character, Yumi, and she is a Yuki Ijo. Sorry, I'm not saying it right. But she lives in a more traditional Korean kind of world that has a sweltering bright sun, and the earth is super hot, so they have to wear clogs to walk on the ground, and all the plants are like floating because they will die from the heat on the ground. And she brings spirits forth that they are able to use the spirits to turn into technology, like the stuff that makes their plants float. And she calls the spirits forth by doing an art called of rock stacking. So I've got this little rock stack here. Not exactly sure where I want to put this just yet, but she does rock stacking as her art form. So they're not in the same world. They have very different worlds and very different art forms. But one day a spirit comes to Yumi and says, "Help us, we're in trouble, and we'll send someone to help you help us." And it ends up being Painter. He ends up going to her world in her body, and he looks like Yumi. And so he has to do all of her things, like, and learn rock stacking. And then she ends up traveling to his world, but and she's like a spirit next to him that they can't see or hear. And then she ends up going to his world in his body, but she looks like herself, and he is a spirit. So, and basically the story ensues from there. Like, what does the spirit want? Why are they body swapping like this? And it's a whole thing, and a whole, like, they kind of like, investigating each other's art because they have very different art ideas. Oh, I feel like this kind of goes with it. Like color-wise and also being about art. But yeah, so, and this is probably one of Brandon's most romantic books too, which I guess is kind of like Warbreaker. But this is a one-off, and it's just really, I just love it so much. And I love the mixing of like Japanese and Korean cultures, and they learn about each other's cultures. My cat is being a crumb bum. So, yeah, and there's obviously some really beautiful art in the book, as you can see here. Oh, so pretty. I think this will work. It's not quite the same, but I'm just trying to make work what I have, just to make something, I don't know, nice out of this whole thing. But yeah, I know, I really love it. This is one of the books that's narrated by the character Hoyd. And I did feel like at the beginning, Hoyd is a lot in his narration. He's just that kind of character. I think I can cover up Brandon's name here. It doesn't really matter. But I guess I could layer over the top. I don't know if I'd be able to lift that sticker. That's okay. But yeah. Anywho, there's a lot of discussion on art, but also on, I don't know, social awkwardness and expectations and identity and having to do things for other people instead of for yourself. I don't know, it's a really nice exploration of stuff, wrapped up in a fun fantasy body swap story. One of the things is that that Yumi does is a lot of ritual bathing, so you kind of see it here. But so they have to deal with that a lot because, you know, they're 19-year-old boy and girl, and they're not exactly, you know, used to bathing with other people like that. Okay, I think this is turning out all right. I just wanted to be able to remember this, like rereading this book. I put in the art here something pretty. But I think that's all I'm going to do. Maybe this last paint tube. This isn't really how either of them do their art. He uses ink and a big brush. And she stacks rocks, but I got a little rock stack there. But it's nice to be able to put a page here for probably one of my favorite Brandon Sanderson books of all time. I love that. Now, do I want to get into the, what time is it? I guess we could put a little bit more in. I'm not sure what I want to do with my Infinity Nikki playlist. I've got these purple playlist printouts. So what I'm going to do is I arrange them, and basically later on I'm going to go and put the name of my favorite track from each soundtrack in. And this is what I did last time. So right before Feb. Yeah, pretty simple, just using one deco page kind of thing. And I suppose we could again, because I've got some in here, but I'm also not sure about that, if I want to use any of these. I'm not sure if any of these go perfectly. We've got 2 Chinese albums, and they have like 2 fairy tale albums with the purple. That's the same page that I did there. I might have to think more about how I want to do that page. And this is probably too pink. So we might leave the playlist for later. But I do like the way this page came out. It's just really full. And then the pirate, the One Piece one, it's also a bit harder. I just got out some various papers. So I've cut out this big Mary by hand. Got the One Piece. Maybe I don't do the big colorful papers and I just keep it simple. And then I've got some screenshots from the show, the season. A little spoiler there, but if you haven't watched it, you won't understand. And then I have this anime Bartolomeo, because I just love him. And then I've got some little clip arts that I cut out. Where's my other ones? I also cut out, should be here somewhere. I just found these on Google. I've got like a devil fruit, Chopper's hat, got a Baroque Works flag, and a little flag here. So yeah, I'm gonna put this together, I think, with just these 2 papers. I think that'll look alright. Like, I don't think it needs to be the colorful ones for this point. Just with the images that I have on hand, I'm just gonna keep it that way. But let me do the base here, and I'll be right back. Alright, so now those 2 are cut and perfectly in there. Let's start doing the little decoration. I just decided to use the anime Going Merry ship. It's just easier to find some of these images that way, but I don't know, I thought it'd be fun. I don't really have much piratey stickers, and I'm pretty sure I've used up all my previous. I had some One Piece stickers like from Japan when I went there years ago. Wait, I'm having a look at my old stash here, and I think I actually have some. These are a Hello Kitty One Piece sheet that I got so long ago. 2011 is when I got these. In Japan, I got it out of a like gacha machine. They have like sticker versions, so not just the little toy versions. So maybe I can sprinkle some of these and use some of these ancient stickers, which will be fun. Alright, so I have some different screenshots here. Of course, we've got our girly Miss Alt Sunday. And we've got a whole bunch of clips here. We got Smoker. One of my all-time favorite characters is Smoker. I used up, my joke is that I used up all of my luck in my previous life when we went to Japan, and there was a gachapon. So this is a sticker gachapon, but there were also like miniature toys. And I really wanted the Smoker that was in there, and I used up all of my luck, and I got the Smoker. So, yeah, I don't have any more luck, guys, because I got that Smoker from a gacha. But Smoker is definitely one of my faves. I want to do this Rooster Gun, Bartolomeo. I'm going to put him down here, and that's sort of a layered effect. And then, we got Chopper, we got Brogy here, we've got Vivi. Love them all. It was such a good season. I will say, I feel like season 1 was so good. Like, I can't believe they actually nailed that One Piece feel, like the weirdness and the fun of One Piece. And they just, you could tell that they just love One Piece in the people who are adapting it. They have like real passion and understanding for One Piece. And I feel like season 2 was even better. I totally cried at the end of episode 7. Where, if you know, you know, it was with Hero Luck. And, there we go. Don't want to misplace anything. But it was just, it came out so well. And I can use these stickers now, because of course this is a Chopper and Hello Kitty sheet. I'm hoping it's still like sticky, so we'll put some of this in here, because why not? We got the little wanted posters for Chopper, Hello Kitty, and Hello Kitty Chopper. Oh, I don't want to cover Chopper's face over here though. Don't cover too many people. I haven't done this very well for myself. I should make room. Sorry, Rooster-kun. We'll put you over here. He's just like loving and adoring Luffy. But yeah, so I love that. But basically, like, when we first went to Japan, which I think was I think I got this in 2012, but we went in 2011. I feel like if you've been to Japan, you know what it's like. You're like, well, I have to go back to Japan, like, instantly. It's just one of those places. But basically, I want to lay this a bit better. But basically, the first time we went, we hadn't watched One Piece yet. And we're like, oh, and we saw it everywhere. We're like, what's with this whole pirate thing? Like, this One Piece that's everywhere. So after our first trip, we're like, okay, we'll watch One Piece. And it's just that good. And I feel like, as much as I love the anime, and I'm enjoying reading the, I am also enjoying reading the manga now from the start, but I feel like this could be blasphemy, but I kind of prefer, to be honest, I kind of prefer the live action at the moment. I just feel like it just works better for me. I don't know. I feel like it has the themes down, and just, it cuts out a lot of the filler for me. There's a lot of filler in the anime, and the anime can get really, like, the animation gets really lazy and really ugly after a while. So, but I believe they changed directors later on in the show, and get better, and he does better quality animation for them. But it gets real ugly, especially in the time skip for me. Because we're now, we're getting up to, on our rewatch, we're getting up to Dressrosa, if you know about that. If you know about One Piece. And it's a struggle with the art style. I wish these coins were cut out. I feel like that would be fun, but maybe I'll just do one more little circle one here just to add a bit more there. But there's my One Piece spread. I think it came out so good, but yeah, I loved season 2. I was crying. Some of the fight, like Smoker looked so good because he's a man who could turn into smoke. And it was like, how are they going to do this in live action, and they just did it so well. I just love the way everything came out. And they made some of the characters even better than they were, like Mr. Nine, who was a standout. And yeah, I feel like the anime is just, it can be a struggle to watch. It's also incredibly long, so they've cut out a lot of stuff here, but I think it's worth exploring all of the mediums for One Piece because you get different stuff out of them. But for me, I'm very, very happy, and they're currently filming season 3, so hopefully we'll get it next year and there won't be a huge long wait. But yeah, I actually really like the way this One Piece spread came out. I just wanted to put some of the important stuff in here. It doesn't have all the characters though. We don't have the Baroque Works characters. We don't have Hero Luck. There's a lot of stuff that couldn't be included, but we got some important things in here. But I like the way they came out, and I'm glad I got to use these literally, like, what, 14, 15-year-old stickers? Wow. And they still stick. They still look good, so I'm happy about that. That is something I actually got in Japan, which is really cool. You can see sort of the information here with the... It's actually advertising a different gacha that has key chains on the back. That was very fun. I'm glad I got to use more of that and finish it up. But yeah, so I think that's where we're going to finish off our reading journal update today. We've got this One Piece sheet done. We have this new Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. We have my April reading page all done. I have to think about what colors I'm going to use to color this in on for my stars, but I think we'll probably try and figure out one of these, like purpley reds, something like that. I think it came out okay. I don't love it as much as others. Like, I think my favorite monthly is still probably Feb, even though I don't have it like fully filled in, but I do love the way that came out. But it's because like both March and April have these, you know, readathon things, so they're just a bit different in terms of being structured. But I'm happy with how they came out. So those are the 3 pages. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and working in my journal. I'll definitely do the Pocopia page with you next time because the stickers aren't even released yet. I just asked for them, and Andrea had made the papers herself with the Pokemon art, so I ended up making new papers for that. So I'm excited to see how it comes out. And then I still haven't figured out what I want to do with the Infinity Nikki playlist page, so maybe I'll probably do that one by myself, but I will show you next time when we set up June, I guess, which is kind of nuts. We'll see what extra pages we end up doing for between then. I just finished watching Interview with the Vampire season 1 and 2, the TV show that's on AMC. And I kind of recommend it. I really loved, especially season 2. I feel like the ending was so good. I kind of teared up at the last episode. So I'm thinking maybe I'd do a page on an Interview with a Vampire. It'll probably be right here in April, even though it's really a March thing, because I don't really have any more space. But yeah, because I really enjoyed that. And then I can do sort of a darker theme. So I guess we will see. But that's how my journal is coming out. We've got the January... I haven't seen if there's going to be a art journal April. I guess I'll look into that, and we might make room and do that if there is one, because it was fun to do a whole bunch of journaling that way. Even though I did struggle with it, I feel like it was a good struggle. But yeah, I don't have much else. I guess on spring, bingo, Annihilation has flowers on the cover, so I'd be able to do this one. It's not quite spring flowers, but then I'd have a bingo here. I think that'll be really fun. I'm not sure about the other ones yet though. Is the Raven Scholar Antonio Hodgson, is she a debut author? Let me know if that is a debut book or debut author. Because it says debut author, so I guess it can't just be someone's debut book. But if she is a debut author, let me know down below. I can just look it up myself, but you know. If you want to comment down below and let me know, then we could mark that off. And then yeah, picking up my favorite books. I just picked up, I'm only 40% of House of Open Wounds, but I know it's just so good. I'm enraptured. And I'm just looking at my other books. Like, that's a reread, so I don't feel like I want to pick a reread from my childhood. And I didn't want to choose a reread again with Yumi the Nightmare 2. So, and I love System Collapse, but I feel like the Motorbot books are not quite monthly faves for me. So, and Sunbringer was good, but not as good as Open Wounds. So, that's what I got right now. I hope you enjoyed playing with my reading journal with me. She's already getting so fat. I don't know how we're going to survive the year. We'll see how we go. The full page journaling really does add a lot to these books, but hopefully we can continue on as we are and make a nice fat book for 2026. Again, this is just a quick look at my previous stuff for Magical Readathon in my other journal, which I just do by myself because there's not a lot going on there. But otherwise, thanks so much for being here. Let me know down below what you thought. Maybe leave some swords and fantasy castle emojis down below to let me know that you enjoyed this. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I love you. Bye-bye.